Hi there. Welcome to Stories, a podcast by Acadium where we focus on the stories of our incredible users. People come to Acadium for a few different reasons. They might be looking to build new skills, whether that's for a career change or just to deepen their craft, or they might be looking to get some eager extra hands on their project or business. In any case, people come to Acadium to grow, and we find that our users often have amazing stories to tell about their journeys, and we're here to share them. All right, our guest today is Lawrence Clayton. He's a graduate of the University of Texas at Austin, where he studied finance and started his career in the energy industry. He worked in the industry with roles from natural gas and electricity scheduler, all the way up to managing multi-million-dollar trading portfolios until around 2005, when he decided to make a career switch into digital marketing, which is where he focuses his time today. Lawrence, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. It's great talking to you.
Yeah, of course. I've heard so many good things about you from the folks who work on the accelerator program at Acadium, and that's ultimately why that's why I wanted to get connected with you today, because it sounds like you've got a cool story and we'd love to share it.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm always out there trying to help other people making the career change, because it's not always easy, and sometimes you feel alone, but it's definitely, well worth it if you're going for what you're looking for.
That's awesome, man. So why don't we get into that? I think, like I mentioned before the call, an interesting place to start might be to rewind to your experience in university and then post-university. So I know that you studied finance. Could you talk a little bit about how you decided to pick that major? Was it something that was it motivated by a specific career that you had in mind for post-university, or was it just kind of a best guess at what might interest you, or something else?
Yeah, well, first off, my dad was an accounting and economics major, and actually had his master's in economics. And my dad, was a big influence in my life, and I loved numbers. I was a big math person, and I just dreamed of actually going to work on Wall Street. And so I was like, obviously, if you're going to be in Wall Street, you have to go into finance and business. And so I went to University of Texas, which was a top 10 business school at the time. And we still a top business school. And, I loved it. It was great. It was a huge experience. It was a big change for me, because I graduated from a private all-boys Catholic school, going to one of the biggest universities in the country, over 50,000 people. So It was awesome.
Crazy football games.
Yeah, exactly. One class would have 5,000 people. And,
That's crazy.
You come from a school of a total of 5,000 people, private Catholic school. So it was interesting. It was cool. It was a great experience, and I loved it.
Right. And then once you left University of Texas, how did the career start? What was your first job like?
Yeah, actually, so my first career, I landed at a brokerage firm. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm doing something similar to what I, studied. Got my license, got into the industry. And it turned out to be nothing like what I expected, because it was actually right at the start of the discount brokerage firms. So you have your Merrill Lynch's and all those other full-size, big-name brokerage firms, Goldman Sachs and all those guys who charge people a lot of money. And then you had the beginning of the Charles Schwab's, the discount brokers, where they were like $5 for every trade. And I was working for one of those guys, but you were just an order taker. So that was not what I wanted to do. I did not want to just be there to be, in my opinion, in my head, I was like, I'm just a monkey. I'm not doing anything. I'm not learning anything. I'm not challenging myself. I'm not being involved in the market. I want to get my hands dirty. I don't want to just take orders from somebody all day long.
Right. So I'm kind of interested in this idea of, like, we go to university, oftentimes, or college, and we have this idea in our mind of what we're going to get as an outcome from that. And it often ends up being wrong. So
exactly.
Like, what was that thought process like for you? You kind of gave me a sense of what you realized you wanted it to be, but what were you thinking about as you were making the decision to go into that industry?
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, I knew that I wanted to be in business, because, like I said, my dad was a very successful guy, started from nothing, poor kid, and from the South, who ended up being CFO of some of the biggest energy companies in the world. And so, to me, that was a huge, he was my idol. And to me, I knew I wanted to be in business, and I loved numbers and finance and math. And so, again, I just knew I wanted to be in that arena. So, I just was like, and trading was this sexy sort of career, just being on Wall Street, just buy, sell. Is just, even though that's completely nothing like what it's really like in the movies or
Right.
how it's portrayed, but it's still like, for me, it was something that seemed cool. And I just dreamed of being in New York. I think like so many people do this for so many times, even though I was like a really shy kid, which was really funny. But yeah, I mean, so I'd actually interned my last year of right before I graduated, I interned at Merrill Lynch, which at the time was one of the biggest, brokerage firms in the world and investment firms and houses out in the world. And so it was a cool experience, but I was, so anyway, I thought that I still wanted to be around stocks and learn a lot, but I knew I had a lot to learn from school.
And how long did you end up staying in the industry for?
A year. I hated it so much. I quit and made that was stupid because, my dad always gave me the advice, never quit before you have a new job. and so me being the stubborn kid, I didn't listen. I had to learn the hard way, but, I was lucky. I worked hard, I hustled. And, I was able to, a lot of people saw my talent, my abilities, and I was able to get a job in the energy trading business.
Tell me a little bit about that, because I'm basically working up to this year that I think was around 2005, where, if I understand it correctly, you were in energy trading from the point in time that you just described up until 2005. So maybe we could talk a little bit about that experience, because it looks like that one stuck a little bit longer for you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed energy trading. It's exciting. It was crazy. I mean, I went through boom and bust cycles of the energy industry where people were trading prices at $2,000. Energy is normally like $40 to $100 in the summertime, in the peak time, or maybe a couple hundred, to $2,000. So, you imagine, and then all of a sudden it cratered back down to 200 where it normally was, or 100. So it was just like this crazy time. It was a new industry, and people were newly trading this product, and it was just really exciting. And a guy like me who was willing to work hard, put in the time, put in the effort, it just, it was really advancing quickly throughout the industry. And it was just, again, it was really exciting, meeting a lot of new people. And it wasn't working on in New York, even though a lot of my friends worked in the New York area, but it was still part of trading. And so I was excited about it and I loved it.
And tell me about the time leading up to the career switch for you. So what changed your mind about wanting to be an energy trader? And then we can get into the move to something completely different, which is what you're focusing on.
Well, I love trading energy, but Enron happened. Enron collapsed everything. And so they destroyed not only the industry, they destroyed the city of Houston where I was living at the time. And I actually got a new job after I left Enron to work on the East Coast. And, after a while, people were like, we don't want to be the next Enron. So they actually cut all their speculative trading divisions. And so I was like, wow, I got to get a new job. So I went back into trading for myself for a little bit. But even then, after a while, I was like, okay, it was just so up and down. It was just, a really crazy time. And so I was like, I've got a lot of talents, got a lot of abilities. I'd owned my own company right before then. So I wanted to go back into helping companies. So as a small business owner, after trading, I became a small business owner and I did very well. And I knew that I had a lot of abilities running and managing companies. So I wanted to help other people. And I also enjoy being creative. So to me, I started doing web design, and that's kind of led naturally into digital marketing for me, being able to use that creative side and your business side and merging those two talents and those two disciplines in your mind and helping other people grow their own business. So that's how I got into digital marketing.
Right. That makes a lot of sense to me. And it seems to me like you're the kind of person who has natural ability to communicate really well with people. I'm sure you're an excellent business owner. You deal with clients well because you're such a great communicator. But I also imagine that when you left energy trading, you've got these skills that you built up in that industry, and you decide to make this switch. There were probably some things that you needed to learn, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, coming from my family, very competitive, very smart family. And naturally my whole life has just been always and I'm just naturally an inquisitive person. And I'm also very introspective. So I'm always constantly learning. And that's the one thing that just, one of the reasons I loved, maybe I'm jumping ahead too much, but I love the Acadium programs because it's constantly been like challenging me to learn, constantly challenging me to expand myself, constantly getting new outlets and new ways. Hey, here's a new website to check out. Here's a new article I read. So I'm just constantly reading, constantly taking courses, constantly bookmarking things. I mean, my browser is probably about to crash from all the bookmarks I have. So, you know,
That's hilarious.
So, yeah.
I'm curious, like, obviously I know that you went through the Acadium program, and we can get in that a bit, but as someone who spends all this time learning, and it sounds like you do a lot of that over the internet, I'm curious for people who listen to this, what kind of resources you've found a lot of success with when it comes to, like, I want to learn this new thing, whether it's search engine optimization or paid media or web design. Is there a single place that you go to try and build those new skills out, or are there a few places that you really like? What's your approach when it comes to figuring out where you want to go to learn a new thing?
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm very introspective, so I know I like numbers. So that's why I kind of really gravitated towards PPC. But I also love writing and being creative writing, and I'm also very technical. So I'm really weird or a different individual in that I'm both right and left brain. Like I love to be creative, but I also love very technical, very task oriented jobs. So for me, I knew that I wanted to do something where, again, that I would be able to fulfill both of those. And so I spent a lot of time, honestly, just doing research online, just say, hey, where can I learn these skills? That's why I spent a lot of time on udemy.com, a lot of time on YouTube, a lot of time on zest.io. I'm literally always searching the internet, typing things into the search engines and getting any article I can read. I'm just constantly soaking up as much information. And that's how I found Acadium. And I started reading about you guys, and everything that I was reading just really seemed to fit with what I was looking for. To just constantly learn.
That makes sense. And at Acadium, as you know, we're big proponents of learning by doing. Like, the whole model for us is, I know you were part of the accelerator program, but for the other part of our business, and it's built into the accelerator program, we use the apprenticeship model. So the idea is, we want people to go and take we have courses on our platform as well, but, take courses on the internet and learn a new thing that you are interested in doing for a brand that you're trying to build, an agency that you're trying to start, whatever it might be, and then come and apply it to an apprenticeship so that you can have an impact on the business that you can point to and understand how it gets put into practice. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the apprenticeship experiences that you've had and sort of your approach to finding success in those engagements?
Right. Yeah. Honestly, that was the thing that put me over the top, was the apprenticeships. And when I spoke to Vic, it was awesome about just that you guys really work hard to put people into the apprenticeships that are going to get them the skills that they wanted, because I'm, maybe a little bit arrogant and cocky, and I know I'm a very intelligent guy, but I'm also very humble in the fact that if I haven't had hands-on experience with something, I don't care how much I've read about it, I don't feel comfortable just being like, yeah, I can do that. Maybe that's held me back in my career, but that's what I loved about Acadium, is they're like, look, we're going to give you the hands-on experience. There were so many awesome projects we had to do during the accelerator program, the apprenticeships. I was very much looking for people who were offering the skills that I wanted, not just trying to take any apprenticeship just to get an apprenticeship.
Right.
And I really just learned so much. Right now, I'm in actually three apprenticeships, one for PPC and one for SEO and one for growth marketing. And because those are the things that I was really interested in. And I've learned so much, and my confidence has grown like a rocket ship, because I've just been able to, again, get my hands dirty, and I think we just sometimes don't even realize how much we've learned until we actually sit down and reflect and say, holy crap, 3 weeks ago, I would not have felt comfortable doing this, and now after doing this project, and I'm a very aggressive person. So when I got into these apprenticeships, I was like, hey, look, I want a new task. Give me a new task. Give me a new task. Give me a new task. And so now they're like, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, I do. Just give me let's get going on it. And the thing is that, like you said, I've got this diverse background that's maybe a little bit different from other people. So I'm coming to the table with skills that they're not used to other people bringing to the table. I'm like, hey, look, as a business, you should be doing this, this, and this. And they're like, wow, yeah, that's a good idea. But they're teaching me about marketing. So it's not just a take. It's also a give.
That makes me so happy to hear, man. You're getting that kind of value out of Acadium at the moment. I would want to move along a little bit because I'm sensitive to your time here. I know it's late where you are,
No,
man.
you're fine. You're fine.
But can we talk a little bit about sort of what's next for you? So, been a part of the accelerator program. You're constantly learning new things, and I know that you're working on your own businesses at the moment. So, can you talk a little bit about that and how you think about the future for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because of my business experience and financial experience and stuff like that, I definitely want to oversee larger projects, and that's my end goal because I know that I have that background managing multi-million-dollar projects, that I can manage large PPC campaigns, but also have strong writing skills and strong visionary skills and strong ability to see from managing a big project. I can also do that too because I managed my own company very successfully. Made over $250,000 in the first year. So I feel very comfortable doing that. But, right now, obviously things are a little tough because of the whole virus situation. That's a little frustrating because I actually had a guy who was like, you've been doing great. I want to hire you at the end of this. And now he's like, maybe he won't be able to do that. So we'll see. But I still obviously, we're still, talking to see if we can work out something. He's like, if he's, so again, just applying to jobs and just keep moving forward. And that's the biggest thing. That's what I love about one of the things I do love about Acadium is that everybody's being very, very supportive during these tough times, helping you learn, continue the learning process, continue achieving your goals. So it's been nice. It's been supportive. Things are a little bit different again, like I said right now, just because of the virus situation.
I hear that, man. I'd be curious to talk a little bit about that and how you kind of approach these times. I know for me personally, and for a lot of people that I know, people are sort of taking this as a time for pause to, I mean, either learn something new or work on a project that they have. How are you approaching this time? I know that you're looking for work at the moment, and in the accelerator program you've got these conversations going on, but is there anything else that's sort of changed in your life as it relates to just how you think about things, your habits, your routines, that you found interesting or helpful or frustrating?
Yeah, man, honestly, I try not to change my routine based off of things like this because I just want to always be prepared. I try to just, again, like you said, just keep learning, keep adding skills. I signed up to be a freelancer. I found a cool freelance company that says, they're still getting in people who are looking for freelancers. So to keep working on my skills, keep, stay fresh, stay ready. It's almost like an athlete who's sitting on the bench. You're like, put me in, coach. It's like not time. You're just like, so you stay ready, you stay mentally involved, you stay engaged. And so again, for me to join up with freelancers, I actually got a project the other day from somebody who we were both interviewing for a job and we connected, and she was like, you're freaking awesome. You have all these amazing ideas, and she hired me for a great project. And so, and I'm actually helping her, and she's just like, man, you're freaking awesome. And so she wants to collaborate long term. So you never know what's going to happen with stuff like that. And so that's why I said, I just keep ready. I just keep learning as much as possible. I keep trying to, work with freelancers. I work with headhunters who work with freelancers. I work with headhunters who just work with long-term projects. And I just work with other people and network as much as possible because you never know where somebody's going to, if you make an impression on somebody, they're going to contact you and be like, hey, here's a project. And it's like a really good project that, you're like, that's awesome. If I get one of these a month, that'd be some freaking great money.
That's cool, man. And that kind of relates to the last question that I'd like to ask, which is something that I have been and plan to continue asking everybody, especially during these times, which is, for someone like you who's made a successful career change, how would you communicate maybe a set of advice or principles or just comments, whatever, to people who are trying to do the exact same thing? Maybe they've found themselves, in a similar situation to you where the industry's just changed, sign of the times, trying to move on, or or they decide, I've made a mistake in my career early on. It's not what I want to do anymore. I want to look to the next thing. How would you think about, in their position, approaching that career change today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think this virus will be around obviously won't be around forever. So we're just going to hopefully this will be just a blip on the radar. But honestly, for me, it's just one of the biggest things that I'll speak from a situation that I've made in my own career is I've been a person who's been so interested in so many different things that I haven't mastered. I've mastered a lot, or I feel like I'm very good at a lot of things, but I haven't mastered one thing. You know what I'm saying? So if I were to tell somebody, I'd be like, hey, look, stay focused, master that one thing, and just do it absolutely well, better than anybody else. And other than that, just hustle, hustle, hustle. Never say no. I don't care if you have to stay up till 2 a.m. and wake up at 6. It's like, get it done. Just always. One thing that all my clients and all of my people that I work with now, they're like, I give you a deadline for Friday and you have it to me by Wednesday, and it's just like, that's just something that you leave that type of impression upon people. They're always going to be willing to help you out. And if they can't help you out, they know somebody else who can help you out. And I mean, again, the main thing is just keep trying to leave a good impression on people, keep going above and beyond expectations, because not only does it just build your own confidence of just, when you achieve something, you go above and beyond. For me, at least, I'm a competitive person. It makes me feel good. It makes me more excited to do the next project. And also, when people have your back, then they know that you're a hard worker. They know that you're putting them first. They know that they asked you for something that was, you probably put in extra hours, put in extra time to get them something that they were looking for. So those kinds of positive vibes and that positive feeling, that moral support you get from people and they're wanting to go the extra mile for you, it helps you because transition in your career is hard, so you need every positive bit of energy you can get. And so, those little things add up, and, and having people on your side who are just, again, recognize your talent, recognize your hard work, recognize that you put them first, that matters. It might not seem like a big deal, but it is.
I think that's really important advice, man. And I appreciate you sharing it. And I know that everybody that will hopefully listen to this will appreciate it too. So thanks for sharing. Yeah. And thanks for sharing a bit about your story, man. You've got an interesting background and an inspiring one. So we appreciate you taking the time to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, my pleasure. Always. Like I said, Acadium's been a great experience. So I'm willing to help you guys out at any moment in time, because I want you guys to be the Harvard of digital marketing experiences and education.
Wouldn't that be something? That'd be amazing. And we're always here for our people too, man. So anything that we can do to help you out and support you, we're here.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say this, you didn't ask me to say this, but I'll just say for anybody listening, is that, a lot of people say that as some sort of line, but you guys really have been awesome and gone above and beyond to support all the students and make sure that we have, everything that we need, and that, everybody in the at least my accelerator, my class, was super supportive of each other. And, we were like, if one person was down, everybody came to the bat, and like, don't worry about it, shake it off. If somebody had a great moment, everybody was very supportive of that. So, I mean, I will say you guys definitely are building a great thing.
That really does mean a lot to me and everybody that I work with, Lawrence. So thank you for sharing that.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. It's been an awesome experience. So I definitely would recommend you guys to anybody.
That's awesome news. Cool. Thanks so much for your time, man. I know it's the evening there, so have a good night, and thanks for joining us so late. Hope to talk to you soon.
Hey, man, my pleasure. My pleasure. You have a good night, man. Take care.
You too. All the best.
Man, bye-bye.